crafters, and welcome back to the Crafty Meraki YouTube channel. My name is Deepa from Designs by Dee, and this video is all about using a stamp 3 different ways. So today we're going to be using the Under the Mistletoe stamp. Now I know Christmas is over, but this stamp looks really cool and it actually coordinates with the olive leaf die. So I thought that you wouldn't really know that it's a mistletoe if I just add different colors to it. So let's go ahead and give it a try. I'm going to set it up in my Altenew stamp wheel on a white piece of cardstock. Now the cardstock is 4¼ by 5.5 inches in size, so it's an A2 size cardstock, perfect for my card. And I am just going to use some Versamark ink. Now you'll notice I have Versamark Frost Sparkle ink, and that's just because my actual Versamark pad is kind of messed up. I need to buy a new one. So this just doubles as another type of Versamark ink. It's clear. You're not really going to see anything much. It just has that sticky nature to it like most of the embossing inks do. So I'm going to pull that off. I actually stamped it a couple times to make sure I got a good impression. And now I'm going to use some of these Creative Expression Pixie Sparkles. Now these are really cool. This one has not only like a pigment in it, it's also got some glitter. So all I'm doing is sparkling it over top. It is a little hard to get some of that out of there. And you do get a mix of stuff. So it's like sometimes you'll get more sparkle, sometimes you'll get more color. It's completely dependent on your on the bottle and how you pour it out, and that's what makes it unique. Now I'm just brushing it off with a dry brush. Okay, I've got nothing on this brush here, and you'll notice that the color spreads out and it gets picked up by the Versamark. Now to make this pop, oh my, look what happens when I add that water. The color just really pops out, and you can see all of that beautiful design that was stamped on the background there. Now this is more of a subtle color that I'm using, but if you want something a little more intense, I would recommend using the deeper colors or the pixie powders, and you'll get like a much vibrant background. So that was one technique, so using the pixie powders to create a beautiful background. Now I'm just going to do some simple heat embossing, so you can always use your stamps to do heat embossing. Now I love trying to use a different embossing powder, so instead of just using a plain old gold, white, or silver, I've actually got some silver pearl. Now I like this embossing powder because it's very subtle. It creates a nice elegant look. Although you see it's white here, when you do heat it up, it actually melts to like a metallic pearl, and the pearl allows this embossing powder to pick up the color of any cardstock or anything that it is on. So you'll see here it kind of looks like a purple pearlized embossed image, which is really cool. So I really like that one there. So I'm going to put this panel aside. So that's the second technique, just plain embossing with embossing powders. And then my third technique is stamping, the simplest, but I'm going to do some ombre stamping. So I've got some Altenew inks, and I love that the Altenew inks come in different tones within the same color family. So this makes the ombre process a little easier. I'm going to start with the lightest color, which is I think pale mauve. Then I've got amethyst. I used grape agate. I think I kind of mixed up my pads here. That should be a bit darker, and this one should be the darkest. So I'm actually just gonna kind of fix that up here by adding the color underneath and then darkening up the top. So the darkest is plum, grape agate, amethyst, and then pale mauve. And you could use any groupings of colors to do this. You could even just use 2 colors and just blend in the middle to get a beautiful ombre effect. So now I am just stamping this down, and I didn't stamp it more than once. It looks like I did this pretty quickly here, but I actually let it sit on the paper a little longer so that the ink could absorb. So now that I've done the ombre effect, heat embossing, and the pixie sparkles technique, I'm actually cutting out some of those olive leaf dies. And I'm also going to cut that out of some, I cut it out of vellum, and I'm cutting it out of some white glitter cardstock. Now I'm using the Crafty Meraki Happy Birthday Paradise, and I'm just going to cut out the sentiment. So I'm just doing a simple happy birthday sentiment, and I'm die cutting it out of some silver mirror cardstock here. And you'll notice that this die is actually pretty cool because you not only get an outline and the main sentiment, you also get like a shadow if you do choose to use that die. I'm not using it, but if you wanted to, the option is there. So I've cut out the happy birthday, and now I've got all my panels and those cut leaves out of vellum and white glitter cardstock, and now I'm just going to cut these panels down. So what I want to do is layer these panels, and I want it to look just a little bit funky, so I'm not going to have it straight like this. That initially was my plan, but I changed it as I went along. So I cut this panel down just a little bit more. I think it ends up being about 4.5 by, what do we got here? 4.5 by 3.5. And you can see I can kind of just angle it on the card background there. And then for this one, I want to keep that ombre, which is why I was trying to keep that piece long. But I realized that I have a lot of the light and dark color at the top and bottom, so I can cut a bit off there. So I cut a bit off the darker end and a little bit off the lighter end. And now I can kind of stack these on top of each other. And they have a cool look to it. It has a lot going on, but because it's the same background, it doesn't look too busy. And you have 3 different techniques on here. You've got the pixie sparkles in the background, which is really cool. Now it's hard to see. There's actually little hints of blue in there, which is really nice. So as I mentioned with those pixie sparkles, if you happen to tap a portion of the powder that has a bit more of the blue, you get a lot more blue showing up. So I do recommend, if you want to control the colors you're putting down more for those pixie powders, you might want to open up the nozzle and just using a scoop, maybe put down the color that you want so that you get more of a mix of the different colors that are in there. Here I have more purple. So I actually used plum, and sorry, I can't remember the second one, but I will list all of the products in the description below for you. So if you're looking for those cosmic powders, those creative expression powders are really, really nice. You could use any other type of pigment powders you have on hand if you don't have this. So I've attached those 2 panels to the main background. This is a 5.25 by 4.25 inch card, A2 sized. I didn't cut the background at all because I really want it to show through. And then I angled the 2 other layers. I attached them with foam adhesive, and now I'm just attaching the happy birthday silver mirror cardstock sentiment with some liquid adhesive. And I'm not being too careful. As I said, this card's a bit funky. It's wonky here and there. Nothing has to be perfect. I kept the little dot for the eye. I always seem to lose that, so I just made sure I kept it aside and added it there. And now I'm just kind of tucking in some of those olive leaf branches. I've got 2 out of vellum, and then I kind of cut apart that not gold, but the white glitter frond here. It kind of stuck out a little bit too much, so I thought, let's even out the fronds that we have on either side and make sure that I have a bit of the glitter one and a bit of the vellum. And then it kind of just came together nicely. So I'm just tucking it in behind that panel. You could cut it if you wanted to. And then I'm gluing it down just a little bit. I do like to leave the ends kind of lifted up to give it a bit of dimension. And that's completely up to you. If you wanted, you could just stick them down completely to make sure they're not going to come off your card. So that's the final card, but we still have to add some bling. So I've got some silver opal gems, and I've also got the sparkle magical iris gems, which are really cool because they shine that AB rainbow color. And I'm just going to add a mix of these, and I've been doing this a lot lately. Normally I just choose one type of gem, but I find that mixing them actually adds a bit more interest to your cards like this. So especially when you're mixing a white color, like a more neutral color with the rest, it looks really nice. So that is my final card for you today. We did stamping in 3 different ways. We did it with pixie sparkles, we did it with heat embossing, and we did ombre ink stamping. And then we put it all together to create this fun and funky but elegant happy birthday card. So I hope that these techniques have inspired you today. As I mentioned, everything is in the description below if you want to check that out in the store. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you guys have a crafty day, and I'll talk to you guys again next time. Bye.